This is the third part of this story. If you haven't seen the previous part, I recommend that you do. You'll find the link in the description. Ning wanted Yifeng dead at any cost, as well as to confirm whether Wu Chen is still alive or dead. Later, we see the protagonist bidding farewell to the wolf he nicknamed Wang Kai, asking him to take care of the house in exchange for bringing him bones to celebrate his first earnings. Wang Kai mocks he in his thoughts, as he still believes he is a dog and not a demonic wolf. Wang was thinking of a way to escape, but at the same time he is afraid, as he cannot gauge the level of his power. He is also confused as to why he asked him to take care of the house, as the paintings he creates are divine weapons that possess energy capable of frightening any immortal cultivator who approaches. Suddenly, he becomes alarmed by a very strong presence. It was you using the scarf for speed. He sensed that Wu Chen had been in that gymnasium and realizes that he died. He knew this through his perception of spiritual energy, which detected the remnants of what was left of Wu. Annoyed, Yu enters to destroy the place and kill Yi, but as soon as he opens the door, the divine weapons react. They release waves of energy that bypass the effects of the scarf and kill Yu, completely disintegrating his body, leaving only his bones behind. Wang Kai witnessed everything and began to cry out of fear. He could see with his own eyes the power of a martial arts god, and he is grateful that Yifeng spared his life and takes care of him. The wolf imagines that Yi left him to take care of the gym not only to heal his injuries, but also to become stronger, so he swears loyalty to the protagonist. We switch to Beifeng's Chamber of Commerce, where everyone is discussing the profits they have gained thanks to Yi. His influence, reputation, and more have brought many benefits to the company, considering it a blessing that Yifeng is with them and not with Ping Jiang. Xing thinks it's wise not to offend Yi, and proposes that they increase his profits so that he continues writing novels. He suggests that they keep only 10% of the earnings, while the rest goes to Yi. Everyone accepts the proposal, especially Lan, who has the mission of pleasing the protagonist on Lu's orders, and also because she is in love with him. Later, we see Ning's assistant with his partner, wondering why Yu hasn't returned and fearing that Ning will be angry with him. The vendor offers them an expensive product, which angers the man, and he threatens the vendor by grabbing him by the neck. But Peng's screams startle him. She was reproaching the protagonist for not wanting to see him again and asking why he keeps looking for her. He tells her that she is misinterpreting everything. He was simply on his way to the Chamber of Commerce, and she stopped him. If she hadn't, he would never have realized. Yu approaches Peng, scolding her for talking to other men, asking if she can't get rid of her old and dirty relationships. Peng hugs Yu in front of Yi, saying that she would never be with someone poor and mortal like him, and if she had to choose, she would prefer death. Yu tried to kill him, but Lan and Luo intervene, confronting him and preventing Yi from having to defend himself. Lan tells him that he cannot provoke Yi's anger, as the entire Qingshan sect will cease to exist. He is impressed and spits blood after she hits him. He becomes scared when he sees Luo behind him and receives a powerful punch that buries his head in the concrete. The sisters apologize to the protagonist for appearing out of nowhere and scaring him. Both Yu and Peng can't believe that Lan, Lu's personal disciple, protects and respects a mortal, so they kneel in fear. Angrily, Lan asks Peng for her name, but she refuses to give it and cries. The albino girl checks her stats and comments that Peng is not strong enough to be part of the Qingshan sect. She interrogates her to find out who allowed her to join without authorization. Lan grabs Peng's badge and breaks it, stating that from today onwards, she is expelled from the Qingshan sect. Peng can only laugh through her tears of desperation, exclaiming why they protect a mortal like Yi. Lan slaps her and warns her not to dare provoke Yi again, especially in the name of the Qingshan sect. If she does, she will erase her from existence. Peng falls silent, thinking that she paid a lot of money to be in the sect, but she lost everything because of the protagonist. She still can't believe that he is truly important enough for Qingshan to protect him, so she sets out to find out what's going on. In the enemy sect's lair, Ning Xuanwu meditates with Yao Linger in the martial arts sect. Ning asks Yao Ling if something is troubling her mind, as he senses her breathing is disturbed. Yao Ling expresses her concern, saying that sending Wu Chen and Wu Feng to investigate our protagonist was a wrong move by the sect. If there really is someone in the city with such power, they will definitely kill the two brothers due to their temperament. Saying all this, Yao Linger asks Ning Xuanwu to personally go and find Lu Qingshan's assistant. Yao Linger sets off to find the assistant, and along the way, she stops at a bar and bribes a waiter to tell her about someone who sells books and has a martial arts gym, thus obtaining our protagonist's name and location. Meanwhile, we return to Ari, who arrives at the dojo and brings food for Wang Kai. When Wang Kai sees that the food Yifeng brought him is just leftovers, he walks away and brings him the only bone left from Wu Feng. Seeing the bone, our protagonist believes that Wang Kai stole some meat from someone else and assumes that Wang Kai wants praise for what he has done. On the other hand, Wang Kai believes that our protagonist left him at the dojo to witness the scene and observe what will happen to him if he disobeys. Shortly after, Zhang King finds a piece of cloth and asks our protagonist about the use of that object. Yifeng, upon seeing the cloth, tells Zhang King that it's a rag and that he should use it to dust because it hasn't been cleaned in a long time. While Wang Kai is terrified by our protagonist's intentions, Yifeng takes Wu Feng's bone and throws it to use as a toy for Wang Kai. Yao Linger catches it, trying to take the bone away from the dog and instantly spitting blood. When our protagonist sees this, he quickly approaches Lin to try to help her, offering first aid. Yao Linger refuses our protagonist's help. Yifeng, seeing how he tried to take the bone away from the dog, asks her if that bone belongs to her family. Yao Linger, shocked, believing that our protagonist saw through her, flees in desperation to the Xuanwu Sect temple. While this is happening, Wang Kai believes that with a simple look, our protagonist realized that she was a disguised spiritual martial artist. So he considers our protagonist impenetrable because he must have a high level of cultivation and a very deep mind. Returning to Yao Linger, who has returned to the Xuanwu Sect, she begins to tell them about our protagonist's existence and confirms that Yifeng was responsible for the murder of both brothers. Ning Xuanwu, truly angry, asks Yao Linger to tell him word for word and in detail everything that happened. Yao Linger starts explaining that there was not a single bone left of Wu Chen, but there was still a bone of Wu Feng with the divine power of the Xuanwu clan's cultivation. And completely terrified, she explains that our protagonist was using Wu Feng's bone as a pet toy. Upon hearing this, Ning Xuanwu gets up from his seat and destroys part of a column in the place out of anger caused by the entire situation. While the other members discuss the downfall of two of the clan's best members and how they are destroying the sect's future, Ning Xuanwu asks Yao Linger about the whereabouts of his two treasures. Yao Linger, asking him not to be upset by what she is about to tell him, explains that the sky-devouring stone has been used by our protagonist to fill a hole, while the speed scarf has been used as a dusting rag. Upon hearing these words, Ning Xuanwu hits the table, causing a tremor and small rocks falling. Ning Xuanwu shouts at Yao Ling, asking her to tell him more about what happened, to which she responds that our protagonist is very intelligent, and even though she disguised herself well, he easily recognized her. Yao Linger explains that the protagonist didn't kill her so that she can bring the message to the sect. Ning Xuanwu, truly disturbed, explains to all the members in that place that our protagonist wants to kill them all. Quickly, Ning gives the order for all the Xuanwu sect masters to descend to the city with him to confront and behead him in revenge for the deaths of Wu Feng and Wu Chen, and at the same time, retrieve the two treasures that belong to the Xuanwu sect to cleanse the shame of the past. Ling presents Ning with his deceased soldier, Zhang, who kneels and swears loyalty to his leader. Ning orders him to go to the martial arts gym and investigate what's inside, as well as discover the identity of the master. Ling clarifies that she couldn't see his strength, so it shouldn't be easy for him to achieve it. She warns that our protagonist is the kind of person who can trap him just by breathing. Since the gym is filled with a murderous intent, he must not be hostile at all costs, otherwise, he will die just like Wu Chen and Wu Feng. Ning analyzes the situation, realizing that Lu's knife could have been made by the same person, in which case, they must have a higher rank than a martial king. Ning starts to fear what kind of power the protagonist can possess if he gets angry. He approaches Zhang and says that if he manages to return alive, he will make him his personal disciple. If he escapes, then he will hunt him down and kill him and his family, as well as have the freedom to determine how strong his training can be. We go back to Yifeng, who is sunbathing and watching his servant work. He asks him to remove the paintings so they can dry since the weather is humid. He looks at the paintings and thinks they are useless or have no monetary value, but they still serve as decoration. Suddenly, someone calls at his gym. Zhang tells him to stay and rest, that he will take care of everything. But our protagonist tells him to keep working, as not many visitors come to his gym, and he has enough time to handle it himself. So Yifeng goes to the entrance and welcomes Zhang. The latter thinks that the gym is too ordinary and doesn't look different from the rest, even thinking it might be a place for mere mortals. This is because he removed the paintings and the gym sign, which had the murderous energy. Zhang criticizes the gym, seeing it as very inferior even to mortal gyms, as the place is cracked and old. Our protagonist approaches Jiang, seeing him as a martial arts genius and even willing to offer him a discount to sign up for a few days. Jiang asks him how to get to the Xuanwu sect, realizing that he had escaped naturally and starting to fear that you could kill him due to his silence and serious expression. He starts sweating when our protagonist addresses him abruptly, believing he is already dead. However, Yifeng disappointingly gives him the location of the sect. Our protagonist can't believe that they really came to his gym just to ask for directions. Jiang is surprised that Yi is giving him the location of the sect, thinking it's a way to kill him slowly or simply to waste his time. Yifeng is even more disappointed to realize that Jiang is looking down on his gym, considering that gesture as a sign that his business is a failure. Jiang looks at him carefully and concludes that he is indeed immortal, and Ling and Ning were just exaggerating about him. To confirm this, he decides to insult the gym, saying that it is quite deserted and that he probably doesn't have many disciples. Playing directly into Yi's illusions, Jiang concludes that he is immortal because any master with that sarcasm would have attacked or even killed him. Even if he really is a true expert, Yi looks totally impressed and hurt. Jiang finishes by saying that our protagonist should change his martial arts gym into a restaurant so that he might be a little more popular than he is now. Yi gestures for him to leave quickly, and Jiang runs off, confirming that he is immortal. He is happy that he is finally going to be promoted and become a personal disciple of Ning himself. He concludes that all the rumors about our protagonist are just exaggerations, and there was never any hidden murderous intent. Out of nowhere, a voice mentions that it's pathetic to be an idiot at such a young age. After these words, Yonghong lands behind our protagonist, accompanied by several other people. These were martial ancestors, Chu Shiquang, Sun Juge, Lai Mo Zai, and Yonghong himself. Yonghong greets Yi, announcing that he has returned to pay his respects along with his friends. Yonghong asks if they are not bothering him, but Yi replies that he doesn't need to be polite with him. Chu Shiquang, Sun Juge, Lai Mo Zai, and Yonghong follow our protagonist, who leads them inside his gym. He still believes that each of them is actually a farmer who came to him to repair their tools, as he expected them to be the type of people who rake a field. Moreover, they look quite old and unique. Shiquang touches Yonghong's shoulder, asking if he is really the hidden martial artist he mentioned. Huang believes our protagonist is immortal since he can't see his cultivation. For him, it is an insult that the ancestors present themselves in the gym of a mortal whom they don't consider worthy. Lai Mo asks the same question, wanting to see the martial board as he senses an extremely pure martial intent compared to that of a god. The ancestors, except for Yonghong, are very disappointed with the place. They had too high expectations based on everything Yonghong told them. The latter gets scared and tells them to be careful with what they say, reminding them that he showed them his sacred rake and was kind enough to bring them here. He adds that they shouldn't be criticizing the gym, and if they're going to be like that, they should just leave since he doesn't want to cause trouble for Yifeng. Juge notices that the sacred stone of the Xuanwu sect is on the ground, and Lai Mo gets excited to see that it is being used to cover a crack. So the ancestors start to regain some of the expectations they had about Yi, considering him a formidable man for the way he treats the imperial weapons. But they are still curious about what he is capable of. Lai Mo says that the long journey to the gym won't be a waste. Zhang hangs the paintings again. Lai Mo observes the sacred scarf, and they start to get nervous about which side he truly belongs to. Huang asks where he could get such good things, to which he only replies that it's a rag he uses to clean the gym. He leaves the ancestors perplexed, who start to respect him and apologize to Yi, saying not to be offended by today's surprise visit. He tells them to stop and says they shouldn't be so cordial since they are from the same city. When Zhang finishes hanging the last painting, the powerful spiritual energy of the gym is unleashed, frightening the ancestors but also inspiring them with its pure sacred energy. He observes them and is confused by the situation. He doesn't understand why they are so excited and thinks that they are constantly rejected because they are ugly. The protagonist invites the masters to sit at the entrance of the gym to have tea and play chess. They accept and start to be affected by the strong martial pressure in the place. They feel breathless and become agitated, concluding that he may be an immortal warlord to possess such power. Lai Mo can't withstand the pressure anymore and sits outside to calm down, and the other ancestors follow him. People start to look at them strangely, murmuring that they are too old to be disciples of someone like he. He returns with Zhang, bringing tea and the chessboard. The protagonist asks why they are outside the gate, to which Quang replies that they arrived in a hurry and have muddy feet, so they don't want to dirty the gym. He orders Zhang to hang the chessboard and help the masters get comfortable while he prepares lunch. Zhang agrees and goes to hang the board. The ancestors start to cry when they see the chessboard, saying that these words have deep meanings. They conclude that the protagonist knew they wouldn't be able to comprehend the martial energy of the gym, so he left them the chessboard. They are amazed by such a gentle energy that reminds them of the Virgin Mary. Back at the Xuanwu sect, the presumed dead person returns alive and reports everything that happened at the gym. He recounts that he is actually an ordinary mortal. Ning asks if he is lying because he doubts that could be true. However, the spy swears on heaven and earth, stating that there is nothing abnormal about the gym and that Wu Cheng and Wu Feng are not dead but kidnapped. It's impossible for a mortal to have defeated them, even with their sacred objects. Ling begins to suspect that it could be a trap to make them believe he is defenseless. He tries to tell Ning, but the latter says there's no need. All he has to do is enter the gym since he wants to see for himself what happened to Wu Cheng and Wu Feng. Ning orders the entire sect to attack the protagonist's gym all at once. The villagers start to flee when they see the stampede. Ling informs Ning that there are some old people sitting at the entrance, referring to the ancestors, but they don't recognize them and think it's some kind of trick. Ning orders that he will go in first to kill you while the others should take care of killing all the members of the gym. Ning runs towards them, ready to kill, shouting that they are old, blind, and deaf. Yanghong gets annoyed as he was interrupted during his peaceful meditation. It's then that Ning, approaching closer, realizes that they are the ancestors. Ning reveals to us that Lai Mo possesses a fortune abacus, a sacred weapon of heaven and earth. Shi Kuang is a madman who massacred his own sect and used their skulls as decoration for his clothes and weapons. Zhuge is someone who was born with a deformity but practiced dark martial arts and changed his destiny. Yanghong is the possessor of the sacred rake after massacring an entire city out of anger towards the martial artists there. Ning panics about what he has done and wonders why the four ancestors are there since, according to their legends, they disappeared and were never seen in the world. He tries to escape, but it's too late. Zhuge grabs his foot to prevent him from escaping, and Ling and all the sect members rush to fight against the ancestors, but a barrier appears and prevents them from getting close. Ling smashes his face against the barrier. Zhuge tells them that he cleared the martial artists from the gym, and they are trying to cause trouble, so they will die for it. Zhuge conjures a skull above each sect member and disintegrates each one of them, except for Ling, who manages to survive but is severely weakened. Immediately, Ning surrenders and tries to explain that he didn't intend to harm them but to destroy the gym. Huang gets angry and tries to kill him, but he is stopped by Yanghong, who tells him that if he kills Ning here, it would dirty his gym and make him angry. Ning begs for his life, even hitting himself in front of them and kneeling. The ancestors discuss what to do with him, and Ning remains attentive because they are talking about the true owner of the gym. Lai Mo warns Ning that they could kill him right now for interrupting his meditation, but they won't do it on his land. Ning continues begging for forgiveness, wondering who could have the ancestors as gatekeepers of their gym. Huang asks if he is Ning Xuanwu. Ning confirms that he is, and Kuang comments that not even their strongest ancestor would dare to have trouble with them. The conversation is interrupted by Yi, who comes out and announces that he forgot to buy some eggs. The ancestors apologize to him, addressing him as Sir. Ning starts sweating and trembling when he hears them refer to Yi as Sir Yi. Ning looks at our protagonist with fear, deducing that if the ancestors are willing to be his disciples, then he must be someone far above the gods. He concludes that, no matter how hard he tries, he is unfathomable, and he will always lose intellectual battles against him. The ancestors feel relieved, believing that Yi was expecting such an attack and won't be angry. The protagonist looks closely at Ning, recalling his past life when he was harassed by the elderly. Zhuge asks the protagonist what he will do with Ning, and Ning feels absolute despair, leaving his life in his hands. Yi Feng questions why he should decide, and Zhuge replies that it's his martial arts gym, so he has the final say. He tells Ning that he made a mistake and must endure the corresponding consequences. He humiliates Ning by saying that he can't help but give the younger generation a chance. Whether he learns from the lesson or not will depend on his own destiny. After that, the protagonist tells everyone that he is in a hurry and will leave the situation in the hands of the ancestors. He runs off to buy the eggs, relieved that he finally managed to escape, as finding faults in the elders is quite problematic. It's a lesson he learned from the past. Everyone is impressed by the protagonist's words and decisions, and Ning is glad that he is still alive. However, the four ancestors think it's some kind of teaching that they need to decipher. They believe it's a clue to keep observing Ning. They continue debating what it meant. And that's how the third part of this story ends. If you've reached this part of the video, let me tell you that you've been one of the few people to make it here. So, comment the word 10,000 in the comments. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss the next part of this story. With that being said, see you in the next video.